A lot has happened to me, for me, in those years. I shot a TV series with Tyler for 20 years,
Yes!
I see why Uncle Curtis is always parked in his chair. I could get used to this right here.
Here we go again. Weird Warren's video countdown.
Allen Payne tried to warn everyone about Tyler Perry, but nobody wanted to hear it. His sudden vanishing act wasn't just some random career slump. Behind the glossy lights and cameras, there were hushed whispers of betrayal, blacklists, and a ruthless machine that punished anybody who refused to play by the rules.
One of the things in our community that people have to understand is that you can't rely on institutions for your health and for your life.
Now, years later, with lawsuits piling up, actors calling out the system, and fans piecing together the truth, Payne's silence doesn't look like a personal choice anymore. It looks like a warning. If the stories from Christian Keys, Monique, and even Derek Dixon hold water, then Allen Payne might have been the very first one to spot the cracks in Tyler Perry's empire. Back in the early 90s, Allen Payne was a star in the making. Born July 7, 1968, right in the heart of Harlem, New York, Payne wasn't raised with a silver spoon in his mouth. His parents, Alan Roberts and Barbara Reeves, drilled into him grit, hustle, and perseverance, the same qualities that pushed him from the streets of Harlem all the way to the Hollywood spotlight. As a kid, he dreamed of becoming a pro basketball player. But when that didn't work out, he found something new: acting. He trained seriously at HB Studio in New York City, grinding day and night, pushing through rejection after rejection, the kind every young actor knows too well. Then, at just 22 years old, Payne got his big break. He landed the role of Lance Rodman, the smooth boyfriend of Charmaine on The Cosby Show. With charm and screen presence that couldn't be ignored, Payne became a household name almost overnight, and that was only the beginning. Soon, he was popping up on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and even scored a steady spot on Malcolm and Eddie. But in 1991, everything changed. His performance in New Jack City as G-Money cemented his place in movie history, going toe-to-toe with Wesley Snipes. Payne's raw, emotional performance turned heads everywhere. From there, his career only expanded with roles in Jason's Lyric, Vampire in Brooklyn, and even music videos. Whether it was romance, drama, or comedy, Payne proved he could master it all. Hollywood saw him as both a heartthrob and a serious actor who could deliver. And then came the project that would tie him forever to Tyler Perry, House of Payne. Cast as C.J. Payne, Allen was stepping into a whole new world, one that promised big opportunities, but came with bigger risks. Allen Payne didn't just star in House of Payne. He became the heartbeat of the show. His character, C.J. Payne, struck a chord with audiences everywhere, turning the sitcom into a ratings monster that ran for 8 seasons straight. Allen was back in the spotlight, bigger than ever, and his name was cemented once again in pop culture. But in 2012, everything flipped. When House of Payne wrapped its original run, Allen Payne seemed to vanish overnight. No interviews, no new gigs, no premieres, nothing. It was like he disappeared off the face of the earth, and Hollywood had no answers. Behind the scenes, whispers began swirling. Some claimed Allen just wanted a break after grinding for years, but others hinted at something darker. One crew member even alleged that Payne stormed off set during a tense rehearsal, never to return. Years rolled by in silence. Then, out of nowhere in 2018, Allen popped back up. Fans were ecstatic when he reprised his role as CJ in the House of Payne revival. The nostalgia was real, but the excitement didn't last long. People couldn't shake the feeling that something about him was different. On screen, Allen seemed muted. The fire that once lit up his eyes had dimmed, replaced with a heavy, almost guarded energy. Viewers described him as quieter, distant, emotionally flat, a shocking contrast to the charismatic powerhouse they remembered. Was this just the mark of a man aging gracefully, or was there a hidden weight pressing down on him? For some, it looked like maturity, but for others, it was a flashing red flag. Fans began connecting the dots, wondering if his long disappearance was linked to unspoken drama. The rumors pointed toward one place: Tyler Perry's infamous inner circle. Perry is known for building his empire around a tight crew of loyal actors, rewarding those who played by his rules and freezing out anyone who didn't. The question was clear. Had Allen Payne been quietly pushed out, only allowed back in under certain conditions? And if so, what really went down between him and the powerhouse pulling the strings? Cassie Davis and LaVan Davis became fixtures in Tyler Perry's empire, always front and center, always visible. But Allen Payne, he was different. Even at the peak of House of Payne's success, he kept his distance. While his co-stars hit every press event and praised Perry's so-called mentorship, Payne rarely gave interviews, barely showed up in public, and never joined the chorus of praise. His silence stood out, and fans noticed. Some chalked it up to professionalism, others whispered it was discomfort. But in Perry's world, what happens if you're not all in? Hollywood gossip has long suggested that stepping outside his tight-knit circle could mean career exile. Fans began pointing to actors who showed up for one Perry project, then mysteriously vanished, sparking theories of secret rules and unai. The lawsuit laid out a disturbing timeline in black and white, from the moment Perry allegedly singled him out in 2019 to unsettling encounters that escalated over time. According to Dixon, it all started like a classic Hollywood tale. Perry supposedly noticed him at an event, struck up a friendly conversation, and soon handed him a minor role on Ruthless. It looked like a golden opportunity, until the mentorship allegedly turned into something else. By 2020, Dixon claimed Perry invited him to his Atlanta home. After too many drinks, he passed out in a guest room, only to wake up with Perry allegedly touching his thigh. Dixon said that moment changed everything. But the most disturbing allegation came in June 2021, when Dixon, staying in a guest house on Perry's property, claimed Perry entered, pulled down his underwear, groped him, and whispered, "Relax," and just let it happen.
He claims that while he was asleep, Perry climbed into bed with him and tried to initiate. Dixon says he tried to distance himself from Perry, but he was offered a role on Perry's show, The Oval.
Dixon said he panicked. He tried to change the subject, laugh it off, anything to avoid escalating the situation. But from that moment on, he claimed he lived in constant fear of what could happen if he resisted too strongly, fear of what it would mean for his career if he stayed silent. In his words, he was trapped working for a man who held the power to end him overnight. By 2024, Dixon said he couldn't take it anymore. He filed a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and walked away from the Oval, calling the environment intolerable. But the real bombshell wasn't just his resignation, it was the lawsuit itself. It didn't only focus on him, it named others, among them actor Christian Keyes. And the filing went so far as to allege that Perry's company may have subjected him to similar harassment. And then came the most jaw-dropping claim of all, that Christian Keyes was paid to stay silent. Fans who once wondered why Keyes never spoke out now felt they had their answer. His silence wasn't a choice. It was allegedly bought. Tyler Perry's attorney, Matthew Boyd, quickly hit back, dismissing the lawsuit as a baseless shakedown. But here's what caught people's attention. While he denied the accusations, he didn't dispute the existence of the text. He didn't deny the timeline either, and he never explained why multiple actors from different years were all telling eerily similar stories. That's when fans circled back to Allen Payne. His quiet exit from House of Payne, his 6-year silence, his distant return. Was it all just coincidence? Or was Allen one of the first to feel the pressure of Perry's world? Because the truth is, Payne's story isn't just about career moves. Behind the blockbuster success of New Jack City and the family warmth of House of Payne was a man weighed down by personal heartbreak. In rare moments, he opened up about it, revealing how chronic diseases devastated his family. "They deteriorated right in front of me," Payne once said quietly. "One by one, they were gone. I realized I had to change my life, or I might be next." That wake-up call pushed him into a complete transformation. He started small, cutting out meat, focusing on clean eating. Then it became bigger: vegetarianism, raw veganism, even ancient healing practices. His journey wasn't just physical, it was spiritual. Faith became his anchor as he battled grief, isolation, and a growing disillusionment with the Hollywood machine. Allen Payne didn't just step away from Hollywood. He stepped into a completely new purpose. He started speaking at wellness events and charity gatherings, sharing health knowledge he once kept private. "It's miraculous how God works," Payne reflected. "When you take responsibility for your healing, your belief increases, and as your belief grows, so does your life." His fans finally understood why he had gone missing, but others weren't so convinced. To them, Payne's shift looked like more than a spiritual journey. It looked like recovery from something much heavier, maybe even unspeakable. Whispers about Payne's time on House of Payne grew louder. Rumors of emotional tension on set, a deleted post that claimed he once stormed out of rehearsal and never returned that day. With no hard evidence, these stories floated like shadows. But together, they fed into a growing belief that Allen's silence wasn't just his choice, it was survival. So when Payne returned to acting in the House of Payne revival, fans were thrilled. But they noticed something instantly. The man who once radiated effortless charm seemed changed. His spark had dimmed. His eyes carried a weight, a heaviness that no script could disguise. He looked like someone who had been through a storm, not broken, but scarred forever.